Direct from the Coupe de Carp and streaming around the world on blasttheradio.com, Twitch TV, and Facebook Live. Engaging you in conversations about the hot topics of the day. The number to call is 613-413-2217. And now, the legendary Lowell Green, live on blasttheradio.com.
Thank you, John. Oh, boy. Are you getting as sick and tired of this sleaze coming out of the Liberal Party as I am? You know, John, you asked a very good question. Is that porta potty that Aaron Toole was pointing at, is that big enough to hold him? I don't think so. Another Liberal scandal. Ay. Wait till you hear the whole story, okay? You may know part of it. I don't know if you know it all. I've done a lot of research here. It's really sickening. No other way to describe it. It's just sickening. Defense Minister Harjit Sanjan caught in a bare-faced lie. Several lies, in fact, but that's not the worst of it. More than that, he's caught trying to cover up sexual allegations against his friend, John Vance, Chief of the Defense Staff. Did you know that Sanjan and Vance were friends? Well, I didn't, but they are. For days now, Sanjan has been insisting he didn't know until, quote, recently, about sexual misconduct allegations against Vance. Sanjan's been grilled extensively on this matter because rumors began to float about the fact that actually Sanjan knew about these allegations years ago, but did nothing. And, of course, Sanjan keeps denying it. Well, you know how the Liberals go. They dance around, I watched one interview and was asked directly, when did you know about these sexual allegations being made against Vance? Well, he said, first of all, he said, well, I didn't know until I saw it on the news. And then he was pressed further. We had a reporter who actually did a little pressing here for a change. And then he said, well, I didn't know until, quote, recently. Well, the truth, at least what I believe to be the truth. Don't forget, I mean, we're dealing with different points of view here, different people making different statements. But I believe that the truth came out yesterday in a Defense Committee meeting where former Canadian Forces Ombudsman Gary Walburn testified. Wait a minute, he said. Sanjan says he didn't know about sexual allegations? Wait a minute, says Walburn. I met with Sanjan in March of 2018. I called the meeting to brief him about allegations. It was a very hostile meeting, he says. This is Walburn speaking, because I reached into my pocket to try and pull out some evidence of sexual allegations. And Sanjan, rather than accepting it, because, I mean, he's the minister, he jumped up from the table. He pushed his chair back from the table, jumped up and said no, and made it very plain that he didn't want to continue this conversation anymore. All I ever wanted, says Walburn, was for the minister to do his job. Well, it didn't end there. So Sanjan doesn't want the information. This is 3 years ago. So a day later, lo and behold, poor old Walburn, he's now in trouble, okay? He's the bearer of bad tidings. So now he is in the crap, okay? So he's called into the Privy Office. This is very serious stuff. Privy Office is, it's the Privy Office. You don't screw around with the Privy Office. So Gary Walburn is summoned into the come in here. What's this going on here? And they start interviewing, questioning him, not about Sanjan or the allegations, but about the victim. Who is the victim here? What can we, all this? So anyway, but that wasn't the end of that. So now, almost immediately, because he's the bearer of bad tidings, Gary Walburn, who, don't forget, is the Defense Department ombudsman, All he ever tried to do was bring these allegations and evidence of the allegations to the minister. Now he's in deep shit. And that's it. He says, oh, by the way, in case you were wondering what evidence there is that Vance and Sanjan were friends, is the fact that, in fact, they were such good friends that it was Vance, who then was chief of the defense staff, who requested Sanjan for his Afghanistan mission when Sanjan was a military officer. So they were very good friends, okay? So obviously, in trying to bring evidence against Vance, Walburn's career as ombudsman is over. That's it, okay? He was almost immediately placed under investigation by the Defense Department. Get this, the guy's just trying to do his job. He's got some allegations, and we know how that can balloon. He's got evidence of it. He's got it in his pocket, and he goes to bring it to the defense minister. The defense minister shoves back, says no, and now they launched an investigation, not into the allegations, not into Sanjan, not into any. They launched the investigation into Wahlberg. And he says, he said, I don't know if it was a cover-up, but he said the hit was on. There's no question about it. Of course, Sanjan, to this day, denies that he ever met Wahlberg. God, I mean, so 7 months later, there's so much pressure. He's under investigation. It's very clear that as Walburn said, these are Walburn said, the hit was on. They were after him. And so 7 months later, he resigns. He just can't take it anymore, and he leaves. So just to add to the sleaze, as if there's not enough sleaze here with this. By the way, John, I hope that some people have some thoughts here. You know what I would dearly love to hear from is some people who are thinking of voting Liberal or even NDP. How can you in any way do anything other than try and get rid of this sleazy bunch? They're a bunch of, not them all, there's some good people there, but listen to this. To add to the sleaze, okay? So this is a defense committee meeting yesterday during which Walburn testifies. So Liberal members of the committee yesterday, rather than questioning about Sanjan or et cetera, they start to jump all over Walburn. Well, why didn't you do more? Why didn't you go here? Wait a minute, says Walburn. I've got these allegations. I've got proof. I've got evidence of it. I go to bring it to the defense minister, and he doesn't want to hear about it. The next day, the Privy Council calls me in. What the hell else was I supposed to do? But they're giving the sleazebags, Liberal sleazebags on the committee, are trying to blame Wahlberg. It's Wahlberg's fault. Oh, yeah. You know, it's not just that. Meantime, the Liberals are still refusing to let us taxpayers see the contract signed with vaccine suppliers, despite a committee meeting ruling that the contracts should be released, must be released. They're not going to release them. And another Commons committee still refuses to let us see evidence pertaining to the WE scandal. We don't know how much money actually ever went to the Trudeau family. We don't know where a lot of these things happened, et cetera, et cetera. And just to complicate that, the Kleinberg brothers were summoned by the committee to appear before them to testify. They have refused. So, you can be sure we will never know the contents of the contracts, billions of dollars worth of contracts that were signed on our behalf for the vaccine. We will never know how much money the Trudeau family got with the WE scandal. And it just goes on and on and on. It's just sleaze bucket after sleaze bucket after sleaze bucket. How honest members of any party can sit there and put up with that kind of crap. Think of this. I mean, here is the ombudsman trying to do his job. Brings what he says is evidence of sexual allegations against the chief of the defense staff. He's shut down, and the investigation is launched into him, and he is essentially pushed out of his job. And as he goes to testify to all of this, and the Liberal members of the committee blame him. I mean, I'd like to take some of those necks and just squeeze them a little bit. John, we have some texts coming in. Thank God somebody cares. Sometimes I wonder, does anybody care out there?
I care, Lowell.
Should I maybe I could just talk about Meghan Markle or something, or like breast size of Hollywood. The Kardashians, is that their real bum or what? I don't know. What do you want me to talk about? You want me to talk about real stuff or crapola? I don't know. You'll have to tell me. Go ahead, John.
I'm here for the real stuff, and so are your viewers and listeners. By the way, can I just say how good you look in HD? Thank you. 613-413-2217 is the number. We'd love your calls. 613-413-2217. We'll start with Peter, who says, a liberal scandal of the day. Nothing sticks to this guy, meaning Trudeau. Sexual allegations and Trudeau liberals are normal. Look at all the stuff Trudeau has done in the past with women. It's all okay, but my God, if a conservative did it, well, the world would crash down on him. Biased in 99% of the media. Listen to the defense hearing yesterday. Very interesting things came out. The ombudsman was very straightforward with his information. Peter also asks, who admits to voting Liberal? Dean says, another quick story in the Sun today. SNC Lavalin got a sole-sourced contract for $150 million.
Yeah.
Kathy says, Trudeau will do whatever to cover what he has done illegally to stay on as PM. And Anthony says, Evan Solomon just tweeted that Walburn warned Sajan in March 2018.
Yeah, that was that's what Walburn said yesterday. He testified. And I suppose liberals will say, well, how do we know what Walburn said is true? But why would he lie? Why would he come before a committee? Because very clearly, if he tried to present some evidence to Sajan, very clearly, he's still got that evidence. So he would have written documentation of some kind to back up. So of course he's telling the truth. He's going in front of a committee. He knows that some of the members, the Liberal members, are going to be hostile. They're going to press him. He's already been subjected to an investigation by the Defense Department, et cetera, forced essentially to resign. So he knows he's going to get these tough questions. But he's obviously well armed, and I watched it as well. It's very clear the guy's telling the truth. He would have no reason not to tell the truth. Absolutely. You have to believe the guy. And then not only that, but when you watch some of the interviews with Sajan, his pussyfooting around. And then you find out, well, why would Sajan do this? Because he was friends with Vance. The old boys network, okay? You know what? Like all of you women out there who support Trudeau, et cetera, what we're talking about here is the old boys network. Well, I'm putting words in Sajan's, but you know what? Most men know exactly what I'm talking about, and a lot of you women, this is how it goes. Oh, geez. So we got some broad out there that's complaining about some accolade. Well, what the hell do we know? I don't want any more information. Get lost. This is my friend. This is the old boys network protecting each other. Come on. That's exactly what it is. I'm sorry to call a spade, but you know what? In your heart of heart, most of you know exactly what I am saying is the freaking truth. That's what happened. Oh, don't bring information to me about my friend. Let's just push this aside. We'll get. You know what? We'll go after you. You wanted to bring me this bad news? Well, we'll fix you. You're finished. Beautiful stuff. Got a phone call? Who have we got, John?
Yes, we do. 613-413-2217. Debbie, you are on with Lowell Green.
Good afternoon,
hello, Debbie.
Lowell. I have to let my heart just slow down here a little bit.
All right.
Because it's pumping.
This is by the way, this is not Debbie, my wife, okay? I just want that clear.
No.
Okay.
It's another Debbie. All right. I can't take it. I don't know what to do. Women, what's going on with women? Support something like this. There's an allegation of some sexual notion, and we can't even get it brought up of misconduct, and we don't have a defense minister that gives a hoot because it's his friend. And all this comes to light, and all the other scandals will go back to Jody Wilson-Raybould and Jane Philpott, and I don't want to go through them because, quite frankly, I just can't take it any longer. And we can't get rid of him. All you women, give your head a shake. I don't care how cute you think he is. He has no brains, and he's corrupt.
Well, I'm glad do you agree with me that the cover up we're talking, because this is a cover up, okay? If you refuse to accept evidence, it's a cover up. This is the old boys network, very clearly at work, okay? This is the guys protecting each other. Would you not agree that that's what happened here?
That's exactly what happened here. And isn't that what all these woke females are trying to fight against? Is this a glass ceiling in the armed
Yes.
forces and everywhere else? And
Yes.
they do nothing. They just sit around, and when it comes time to vote, they trot their butts over and vote for Mr. I can't even say it. I was going to say, well, never mind. Prime Minister Blackface. And what, for a baby bonus? Honest.
Well, I mean, the conservatives will give them a baby bonus too, the child credit. Listen, Judy, you know what? Or Debbie, sorry.
Oh.
I really, you know what? I'm so happy you called. You've never called before. It's so good to
Oh,
hear.
yes, I have. Oh, yes,
Have you?
I have. I just haven't been
Okay.
able to call you
right.
much since the show started because I've got my mom's 87 and I do a lot with my mom during
Okay.
the afternoon. So,
Okay.
I had a chance today, and
Good.
since my head was going to explode, I had to call.
Well, I'm glad, rather than have your head explode, I'm glad you called me here. I'm a great release valve. Thank you
Yes,
for the
you
call.
are, Lowell. Thank you. Bye-bye.
God bless you. God bless you. You know what? If we had more women like that, more men and women who see what's happening here and had the courage to speak up, what a better world we'd have. And talking about a better world, you know who helps make a better world? Dealers that you can trust. How's that for a segue?
That's dynamite, my man.
And no, but I mean, it's key. It's these days, it's hard to find a dealer of any kind, whether it's car or appliance or furniture or anything that you can absolutely trust. That you know that whatever they say they mean, they will follow through. The price they quote is the right price. You know that you're not going to get screwed. That's the case and there are lots of businesses like that, family-owned business in many cases, locally owned, family run, et cetera, et cetera. Shields. This fits them to a T. People you can trust. They've been trusting them since 1946. In the same family since 1946. Good people. You can trust them. And no matter what it is, if you need an appliance of any kind, for God's sake, give local a chance. And there's nobody better local, or for that matter, not local. There's nobody better, let me just say that, than Shields. Shields.ca. Some more texts coming in, John.
Lowell Green Show now streaming live on Facebook, Twitch, and as of today, YouTube. All the links at blasttheradio.com/Lowell Green. Happy to pass your comments on to Lowell live on the air, and we'd love your call as well, 613-413-2217. Liberals own the media, says, I'm sure is a John or Gene. Ann says the whole bunch should go. They lie to our face, and yet nothing sticks to our self-proclaimed prime minister. Lowell, this has been going on for so long that this is the new norm. I'm furious with them, but they keep getting voted in. These are some of the comments on your Facebook feed. Joshua says, we keep hearing outrage of Trump trying to circumvent this and that, yet here, nothing. Funding newspapers and the government-funded CBC doing a bang-up job. Ann says, why do liberals always get a free pass? Kathy says, this is called the bro code. Vern says, if voters are willing to give a pass on yet another scandal, then we can expect another liberal majority government and this country will be destroyed. And that would be the voters' choice. Pathetic.
Thank you. I have another topic here. Let me ask you this. I don't know why this thing keeps slipping down here. Let me ask you this, okay? Do you think this band of brigands would hesitate to instruct health authorities to change the rules in order to help Trudeau win the election? What do you think? Look, I have to be careful here. You know that I have been pressing this business of vaccines, follow the rules for months. I've got lots of people mad at me because I'm doing that. But I've got to be honest here. There's something doesn't sit right. Something doesn't smell right. Look, for months, we have been told by these health experts and the manufacturers that the second dose of vaccines should be administered 21 days after the first, or close to that. Now, all of a sudden, I don't know where they've been able to pluck this number out of the sky someplace. Now, with no proof whatsoever, we are told by the same experts in many cases that, well, actually, we can delay this second shot by 4 months. Wait a minute. Hold it. One day you tell me it's got to be 21 days. The next day with no evidence and no proof. And I say there's no evidence and no proof because we haven't had the vaccines out for 4 months. So we don't know. You don't know if you can delay 4 months. You don't. And even Dr. Fauci, and I have a lot of time for Dr. He's American and all the rest of it. But I think that by and large, the guy has told the truth, at least the truth as he knows it. And he says to delay like this is, quote, a risk. Well, I don't want you buggers to put me or anybody else in this country at risk just to help the prime minister get elected. Because who else benefits? Well, you see, a lot of people don't understand this. But if you only have to have one shot by the end of September, then the prime minister looks like a hero. Well, says Trudeau, I told you everybody's going to be vaccinated by September. Yeah, but we're only going to have one shot. This means rather than 60 million doses, which would be 2 shots per person, we only need 30. So you have reduced the demand by 50% by saying, oh, well, we only need the second shot 4 months later. Maybe it's true, but how the hell would you know? There's no proof. There's no evidence. We haven't had this thing out for 4 months. I'm watching last night, and some reporters were pressing some of these health experts, and you could see some of them squirming a little bit. Well, like, where did you get the four months from? Well, the data is this and the data is that. Bullshit. What data? We haven't. I am very, very suspicious. Why are we being put at risk? At least I believe there is some risk. The manufacturers have told us 21 days or close to it. Now we're being told it's a hell of a difference between 21 days and 4 months. And Fauci, one of the leading experts on this, says this is a risk. Why are we being placed at risk? Well, of course, in Canada, the reason we're being placed at this risk is because we don't have enough vaccines. We don't have enough vaccines because the freaking prime minister screwed up. He's futzed around with China for so long that he forgot to order from others. So we don't have the vaccines. But a way to get around this, I can just hear I can hear Gerald Butts and all of the great brains in the PMO saying, oh, you know what? Hey, this is a hell of an idea. Let's convince the health authorities, or maybe we could just, issue a sort of a little veiled threat kind of a thing that, 4 months. So that's, hey, if we don't have to have a second shot in 4 months, we only have to have 30 million out there. We can do this by September. We've reduced the demand 50%. We've cut it in half. I don't know. I hate to think that we would have a government that corrupt, that evil. But jumping, Jesus, I mean, when you see some of the stuff going on here, see what they're doing, how they lie and lie and lie, I don't know. What do you think? John, we got some more text coming in.
Yes, we do. A text at 613-413-2217. This person says, thank you. God bless you, Lowell, for figuring out that something is not right. Kathy says, either Canada has no money for vaccines or Trudeau doesn't want Canada out of lockdowns. Peter adds, there's something going on here for sure. Lorraine says, I'm beyond disgusted with this corrupt government, but other than not voting for them, what can be done? I send emails, but a waste of time, probably.
Well, the voting is the secret. I mean, if you want 4 more years of this, then vote Liberal or vote NDP or vote for Maxime Bernier. If you want 4 more years of Liberal, just don't vote Conservative. That's all. Simple. Go ahead, John.
Sorry, Lowell, I'm answering your phone for you. Tom is a friend of yours from Florida calling 613-413-2217. Tom, you're on with Lowell Green.
Hello, Tom. Where are you calling from now?
Hi, Lowell. It's Tom Toomey calling from Florida.
Hello, Tom. Tom is a neighbor of mine up here. Somehow or other managed to escape the northern climes and has been posting me quite frequently talking about the joys of Florida. Let me ask you this, Tom. Have you and Carrie got your vaccines yet?
Yes, we did.
Good for you.
I got mine last Sunday, and the second dose is available. Is going to be administered on the 21st of March, which is 21 days. And Carrie got hers on Tuesday, which is going 21 days from there is the 23rd of March.
So they're not screwing around with this in Florida.
They are not screwing around. As a matter of fact, I think the governor down here is doing a great job with the 65-plus priority. And there has been nothing said at all about this extension of 4 months. We haven't heard that on the news here at all.
Well, I hope that you don't hear about it, because they have plenty of vaccines. It's kind of funny in a way. Some of the politicians in the United States are complaining about the slow rollout. As of this morning, there was about 85 million doses administered throughout the United States. That's some slow rollout. I mean, it's over 25% of Americans have now at least have had one shot. Let me ask you, Tom.
Well,
where did you get your shot? How easy was it?
To be honest, it was quite easy, because CVS pharmacy down here, which you know of, just came online to administer the vaccines. We called the first day, it was about 7:15 in the morning, and we got right through. And we booked our appointment. Well, actually, it was online, but we booked our appointment right away. Now, we tried Publix down here, as you know of Publix, and we've been trying them for a few weeks. Couldn't get on at all.
Right.
We also were registered on a lottery down here in Manatee County. There's a lottery. And we had our number, and it was never picked, so we were still waiting for that. So we just finished canceling that to give somebody else, an opportunity. But down here in Florida, there's over 6 million that have already been vaccinated. And how many in Canada have been vaccinated right now?
About just slightly more than 2 million in all of Canada.
No, we somehow lost his call, unfortunately.
Oh, dear, we lost the call.
That's too bad.
But
was great.
I'm glad. Tom, is so good to hear from you. Tom is a very dear neighbor to me here. Buys all kinds of my books, for which I'm very grateful as well. But this actually, it's just evidence of like what it's like in the United States. Publix, which is a supermarket, this is the grocery store. They are issuing vaccinations. All of the pharmacies now in Florida, and mostly throughout the United States. And I didn't know about the lottery. That's kind of fun. So you can enter a lottery as well. But, that's, folks, so 6 million people in the state, one state in the United States already got one shot. In all of Canada, we have just slightly over 2 million. And you know what? And the Prime Minister comes out of his little Heidi cottage, and he boasts about it. Oh, they got millions and millions and millions coming in here. Yeah, well, so far, about 2 million Canadians. That's slightly more than 5% of our population. Centennial Glass. We're talking about local firms that you can trust, that you can believe what they say. Hard to find people who you can actually believe everything they say, but you can with Centennial. Been around a long time. They do great work. Glass of any kind, folks. Glass furniture. A lot of people designing different kinds of glass, tempered glass now. I mean, you can do anything with it, for God's sake. You can build whole entire buildings with glass. So whatever it is, glass furniture, windows, doors. By the way, spring is coming. If you think that you'd like some new windows and doors, give Centennial Glass a call or check them out on the web. There probably are some government grants. Centennial Glass will know all about it. They'll be able to give you all of that information. And there's no obligation. If you phone Centennial or email them or whatever, getting some information, there's no obligation. They're glad to help. Centennial Glass, Ottawa, and in good old Renfrew. More texts coming in here, John.
Yes, indeed. At Facebook and at 613-413-2217. Todd says, how convenient for Trudeau, eh? There's definitely something wrong in all this. Connie says, we have a government that is corrupt and evil. Kathy says, the Liberals are as corrupt as they come. Glenn says, he changed the rules so he can say, I'm great. Everyone in Canada has been vaccinated. Anne says, Liberals can dilute my whiskey, but not my vaccine. She adds,
good line. I'll have to remember that one.
I'll send
Wonderful.
That one. I'll send that one to you so you've got it. She adds, if Canadians are not vaccinated, the U.S. border will be closed to us. And Glenn says another thing. He's delayed anyone leaving Canada because we, over 70 years old, were supposed to be vaccinated starting May 1st with second shot 4 weeks later. Now first dose is the same, second one 4 months later, not 4 weeks, being held back by this BS claim. And Andre says Quebec is getting the pharmacies to give the vaccines out soon.
Do you know that in Quebec, not a single person has had a second shot yet? And, you know, like if I lived in Quebec and was getting vaccinated there, I would just be absolutely livid. Where do we get this information that you really don't need the second shot? I'd like to see the data that proves that, okay? Everybody's talking about science. You got to follow the science. Well, where's the freaking science in that? No, this is just a matter. You know what? This is not science. You know what this is? This is convenience. Oh, well, we politicians, we look pretty bad if we can't give people 2 shots. But if we only have to give them 1 shot, that reduces the demand 50%. Not bad, eh? Not bad. Good way to get the Prime Minister and the government off the hook. Reduce the demand by 50%. Beautiful. Beautiful. John, I have to go and lie down. This whole thing is giving me a headache. You know, when you can't trust your government, when how many cabinet ministers have gone now? We lost the justice minister. We lost the finance minister. We lost the health minister. Now we've got the defense minister lying through his teeth. Whether he'll ever pay the price for this, God knows. You know, the Liberals want to blame it on the ombudsman who blew the whistle on it. It's beautiful. It's enough to make you want to dilute my whiskey. As a matter of fact, you know what, Debbie? My wife I can hear her working in the kitchen behind me. I'll have a little shot of whiskey. You know the kind. Single Scotch. A little shot of Scotch would help. A little bit of some of the medicine go down. John, thank you. Thank you all. We'll be back.
You've been listening to the legendary Lowell Green on blasttheradio.com. Connect with the show at blasttheradio.com/Lowell Green. Find the podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, and more. Or ask your smart speaker to play the Lowell Green Podcast. Lowell is live weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on blasttheradio.com.